different measures to ensure sustainability usually make their own topics in terms of an essay in the exam. So, for example, the first measure to ensure environmental sustainability is the market. There could be an essay question that requires you to discuss the market as a measure of ensuring environmental sustainability. So, on its own, it can make its own essay in section C. So, make sure that you pay attention to what needs to be included as part of your discussion. As part of your discussion, the first thing that you have to discuss is self-interest if we're talking about market. So with self-interest, we're talking about how the market only looks out for itself. It cares about making a profit, for example. Then we also have the reasons why market fails to sustain the environment. We're talking about common resources, like we discussed before. Because they're common, they are cheaper to use in the market. If your supplier is only nature, then it's easy to sell that product at a cheaper price, hence it leads to negative externalities. Then we talk about the externalities. These are the costs and benefits that were not planned for, meaning that they are not included in the cost price. So the laws of demand and supply are basically have an error within them, because they do not take into account the extra costs and benefits from externalities. Then we have lack of knowledge. There are some people that are simply don't have the knowledge of how producing the goods that they sell affects the environment. And then there is carelessness. So these are the people that do know, they just don't care to find better ways of producing their own goods and still preserve the environment or conserve the environment. Second, we have public sector intervention. So the question can come up and say, discuss public sector intervention as a measure of environmental sustainability. Under this topic, what you will discuss is granting of property rights, charging for the use of the environment, environmental taxes, environmental sustainability, and marketable permits. Now, I need you to make sure that you pay careful attention when you are reading your questions in your final exam or in your prelims, because we are looking at the full syllabus of economics. It is easy to confuse topics. This topic of public sector intervention in environmental sustainability can be easily confused with the topic of public sector itself. So you need to make sure that you know which one of these two you are being asked for. Make sure you read your questions in full and you understand that this is the public sector for environmental sustainability.